In the last video I used sliders to control the range of a graph you'd see down here, but of course they have much more flexibility than that. I'll just demonstrate this by running this program and the model and changing the value of the sliders I've now attached to the constants in the system dynamically as the program is simulated. And over here I'm showing the X, Y and Z so you can see the overall dynamics. It'd be better with a three-dimensional graph which we have planned, but of course that takes more coding time. So here we go, hit run, and there you're in the chaotic region. And what happens if I reduce the value of A? Okay, past a certain point you get an equilibrium coming out, so the system is stable. I think this is reducing the degree of temperature difference between two levels, and once you've done it, you're stuck in equilibrium, you can't get out of it. So let's just stop that there. That's one illustration. I'll take this back to its level by holding down the arrow key when I've got the highlight on the slider itself. Now let's go back and start it again, but this time I'll work on the value for B. Let's drop that down a bit. Okay, equilibrium very rapidly, but you can get out of it again. So different characteristics in the system for B. Whoa! And back down to the 16 level again. Okay, stop that and I'll start again. Now let's play with the value for C. That makes it more unstable. Increase again. So if you, whoa, now you've got an equilibrium there, which has moved it a fair bit. What happens if I reduce it? Okay. Back in an unstable range again. Let's just stop it there. This is the large part of using a dynamic system. You've got to work out what its overall characteristics are. There's regions with very different behaviours depending upon the values of parameters and sometimes initial conditions. And this is one reason why some people criticise using complex systems to analyse the economy, because they say, well, you can't actually reach a conclusion, it depends upon which regime you're in. I think it's a very naive way to think about this, because the important thing, I think, is Taleb has popularised the phrase anti-fragility, is you want a system which stays in its robust region. And if you can qualitatively define what that is using a complex systems model, which you cannot do with an equilibrium model, then you can then advise policymakers that maybe some changes, like for example deregulating the finance sector, might not be a good idea, because it then takes you from a robust region where you don't get runaway levels of debt to a fragile region where you do. And that's a major part of why we're developing Minsky, to make it possible to show policymakers a visual, simulable, variable, they can control model of the economy and say, this is what we think will happen if you bring in that particular policy. Hopefully that'll give us better policy than what we've got in the last 40 years.